Hey everyone, so WazzoTV has come out with another episode to his Scratch Saga series, and this one is part 2, so I'm gonna talk about it. First of all, I thought that for like the first half of the episode, the story was pretty slow. Just took the characters a long time to do what they had to do. Wazzo had to reconvince everyone to join his team, and the featured Scratchers did nothing at Scratch. That's the one thing I want to talk about, is they had the guest star Scratchers, and they were kind of like working for Gobo and responding to everything that was happening. And so eventually TNT Squirrel comes in and leads this group of Scratchers to this like secret file storage place, and then they get captured and they don't really do anything. I hope that in the next part, or in some part before the series ends, that they get let out and they get to do something, because that was kind of disappointing. I mean, I don't really know these Scratchers very well, and I'm not like a super fan of them or something, but they did not help the cause. Speaking of not really knowing who these Scratchers are, maybe I'm just like living under a rock or something. I don't know. I mean, I don't usually explore Scratch as much as I make things on Scratch. I'm kind of selfish. I don't know. I guess I don't explore Scratch as often as I should. I usually just kind of work on stuff, but I don't recognize any of these people. And I mean, that's not a problem, but I was kind of hoping they would at least kind of introduce everyone else so they feel more like characters. I think one of the problems with this is that these Scratchers are less being used as valuable characters of the story and more just like cameos to get people to watch the projects. I don't know if this is inspired by this, but take like Infinity War for example, where everyone's coming together. I haven't seen that movie, but from what I know, from what I've heard, you can tell that the characters are there to be characters and to do something for the story. These people just kind of serve a role that anyone else could, and there's nothing really identifiable about them. Like, I can't even remember their names. They just the one problem with doing these cameo things is that sometimes that can be used to substitute good characters just because, oh, well, it's this Scratcher you like, so you're gonna like the project. I don't have anything against these Scratchers who are involved in it. I just wish that they got more of something to do. Like, in the part where they infiltrate the base. I mean, yeah, they got to shoot some mines and stuff. But once they get in, Astro's just like, stay back and protect the sprites. And that just kind of signaled to me that they didn't want to have to do stuff with all these characters, so they just kind of dropped them off. And we're like, okay, let's focus on Wazzo, Scratch, and Astro. I mean, that's fine. They do have a lot of characters, which would be hard to manage. But I just wish that when they do these cameos, it would less just be like a cameo and more like I could identify the characters. The only people I can remember of the Scratchers, like the old Scratchers, there was that girl Avidana who she like didn't care about anything, and there's a guy who hugged Scratch Cat, and there's a guy who was a penguin from Club Penguin. So it doesn't make this series like a terrible trash series. It just feels like a little bit of wasted potential. They don't have to all have like a character arc and stuff, but if they could pick a few besides Wazzo, Astro, and Scratch that would be a little more identifiable, then I would enjoy it better. I don't know, I'm probably asking too much of this series, but I'm just giving my thoughts. And also, now that I think about it, Darkwanzala kind of like disappeared. I don't even think he was on the truck when they were driving to the HQ. Where did he go?
Club Penguin!
So yeah, that's all I really have to say about the characters. The story was fine. At first it was slow, but then it picked up. The one thing I wonder though, there's that one part where they're driving in the car and Astro has his like VR goggles, and so they like hack into the Scratch like interface. Why didn't they use that earlier? That seems like something really powerful. Like, why didn't they just right click like the Gobo sprite or something and be like delete? Or why didn't they change the coordinates of Gobo and land him in like a cell and then he would be locked up? How many people have access to these things? Again, I'm overreading into this. I'm really going deep for just a Scratch project, but I like to treat everything with the highest standards, and I can be kind of a critical person, so yeah, these are not things that are ruining the project, but they're definitely noticeable. Okay, let's move on to the art. The art, I guess I don't have much to say. It didn't really change. It was cool to see like how all the different Scratches have different art styles and to see them all kind of together. I felt like the animation was a little bit lazier this time. Some of the walk cycles and stuff were just like 3 frames being looped. But I mean, again, I can't ask too much of this project because it is very long for a Scratch project and for being made by just like 10 or 12 teenagers in their free time. The voice acting, some of it was kind of Again, they did this thing with Gobo and Wazzo's dialogue because they're voiced by the same guy. So if you don't know, Wazzo likes to shout a lot.
You will be working 18 hours! It's me, Gobo! What? That's not gonna stop me! Gobo out! Club Penguin!
And that's hard to do in the Scratch recording interface because it only lets you get so loud, and if you like select the whole thing and hit like louder, it won't make it that much louder if you have one moment where you're like raising it super high. Where you're like talking like this and it's super duper loud. That doesn't work. That can be hard to deal with, but I think if you just highlight the area where he's not shouting and make it hit the louder button, which is usually what I do when I'm recording stuff on Scratch, then it would be easier to hear because there were still moments where I couldn't hear. I didn't know what was happening. That's the only thing, and I hope they can fix it. So one of the things that I was worried about last time was people would be mad that Scratch's A-Light didn't get in it or that they didn't get in it. Looking at the comments, it's actually happening pretty often. Less so that people are saying, hey, I want this Scratcher to be in there. And I am getting a lot of comments that are saying, can I be in there? Can you put me in there? Can you put my OC in this? Not like flooding the comment section, but it's happening a good bit. More than I thought it would. Someone's saying reach out to the furries of Scratch. A lot of people are asking to be in this. Not a terrible amount, but it is a good bit. I mean, I think that was kind of inevitable to happen. I think that the creators had in mind that like, yeah, this is gonna happen. I guess I shouldn't complain about because it's their problem to deal with, but we'll just see what happens. That's basically all I have to say, really. My biggest complaint is just the story needs some more improving. The characters need a little bit more depth, at least some of them. Just give them more, like, make them more identifiable for people who don't know them very well. And that's really it, I guess. So thank you guys all for watching. I'm glad you guys have received the first review well. I appreciate that. Alright, I have been talking for a long time. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next time. Bye!